organizing and summarizing data. So in the first section, 2.1, we're going to look at qualitative data. So we want to organize raw qualitative data in tables. So first let's talk about the frequency distribution. What is the frequency distribution?
You're not sharing your screen. Are you?
I'm not sharing. So what happened? Sorry. What did I do? Okay. Sorry, my apologies. Thank you for letting me know. Actually, I looked at that and I said, what is going on? Why am I not showing anything? Okay, Stephen, are you there? Stephen, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Gone. Okay, so frequency distribution and what it means. Okay, so frequency distribution is nothing else but list. It's a list of categories of data and their number of occurrences and the number of occurrences. Of each category. So let's read this example here. It's a physical therapist wants to determine types of rehab required by her patients. To do so, she obtains a simple random sample. That's the key. Simple random sample, which is supposed to be representative, if it's correctly selected, of her 30 patients, right? And records the body part requiring rehab. Construct a frequency distribution of location of injury. Okay, so basically we have to list all the body parts. So let's see what we have. We have back. So let's start with body part that needs rehab. And here the number of occurrences. So I'm going to write back, hand, wrist, groin area, elbow, shoulder, oops, UL, hip, knee, and neck. So back, hand, wrist, groin area, elbow, shoulder, hip, knee, and neck. I don't see anything else. So now let's count in the sample how many times each appears. So I'm going to count back. You count something else and you give me the results. Just pick anything and just count them. I will count the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the number of occurrences or the frequency or number of occurrences, I found 12. What did you find for back? I'm sorry, for hand. Next one. How many did you find for hand?
1.
Is it? Okay, 1 it is. What about the wrist? How many did we find for wrist? Only 1? Okay. How many we found for groin area? I found 2. Do we have more than 2? Okay, what about elbow? 1, only found one.
Just one.
Good. For shoulder. Shoulder, shoulder 2, 3, 4. I found 5. For hip. 1, 2. Okay. Knee. 1, 2. That's it? 3, 4. And for neck. 1, 2. Is that it? Now let's add them up. Let's see if they are 30, just to make sure. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 20, 24, and 26. 24 plus 6. Yes, indeed, total 30, just to make sure. Very good. So now we want to determine not just the frequency, but we want to determine the relative frequency. So this is our next step, the relative frequency. How do I determine the relative frequency? What does it mean? Is the frequency divided by the total number, total. So let's grab our calculators and do this with a graphing calculator. So I'm going to add it here as an extra column. So this was the frequency. So this will be the relative frequency. So, ready? Let me know when you're ready with a graphing calculator. So let's go to STAT, stat. And you see the word edit is already highlighted. Just press enter. If you have anything, just highlight the, go to the top if you have anything listed. Go to, let's say, L1 and press clear and enter. And you will delete the entire column. Same thing here. If you want to delete L2, just highlight L2, clear, and enter. Stop me anytime, please, if you have any questions. So let's go back to list L1. In list L1, I would like to just list these numbers. 12, the frequency, enter. 1, enter, 1, enter, 2, enter, 1, enter, 5, enter, 2, enter, 4, enter, 2, enter. I'm checking. 2, 1, yes. 5, 2, 4, 2. Perfect. Now go back up, highlight L2. Are we all there? Highlight L2. And let's do this. With L2 highlighted, press the second key, and my calculator is blue, but you may have yellow. Second, list L1. So second and 1, which gives me list L1. As you see, list L1 is here. And divide by, how many, what was the total? 30. Very good. Divide by 30. Press enter, and we will get the relative frequency in one stop. With one click. Everything is there. Now, remember when I added all these to make sure that they have, the number is total is 30, because that's what they were telling us in the example. Now, when I add up the relative frequency, I'm going to copy them in a minute, but when I add up the relative frequency, what should I get as the total number here for the relative frequency, not for the frequency? I know the frequency is 30, but the relative frequency, and in the meantime I copy them. Be careful, say it again.
1.
Excellent. The total must be 1. I have to make sure that it's 1. If the total is not 1, then I have to round up or round down, who knows. Okay, so let's say we stick with 4 decimal digits. So the first one is very clear, is 0.4. The next one, go and highlight it, and it's very clear, it's 0.0333. The next one is the same, 0.333. The next one is 0.0666. The next one is again 0.0333. The next one is 0.1667. The next is 0.0666. The next one is 0.1333. And the last one, 0.0666. Now I have to be sure and make sure that they add up to 1. Here's how I'm going to do that. With a graphing calculator, I can't actually, because I can show you a way, but it will give us 1 guaranteed, because the calculator will use all the decimals. But we are not here, you are not using all decimals. So I have to go to second and quit, get out of that window, second and quit, and I'm going to add them by hand. 0.4 plus 0.0333, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, plus 0.0666, 1, 2, 3 times, 1, 2, 3 times, yes, plus 0.1667, and plus 0.1333. And as you see, the answer is not exactly 1, it's more than 1. So in order to make sure that this is correct, I have to make some adjustments. So I will have to correct and subtract somehow, somewhere. That's another bias, right? Another error. I have to, because if they don't add up to 1, I'll have problems later. So 0.33. 0.033 is over 1. I don't really want to subtract from only one of them, so I may have to adjust more than 1. So I'm going to say, what if I reduce this last digit of 33 from all of them? I may have to go back and readjust. They have to add up to 1. So this is a little bit of a tedious process. We can, if we have time at the end of the class, we can go back and make some adjustments, but keep in mind, because I don't want to go through this several times till I make sure that it adds up to 1, but make sure that whatever happens here, you have to adjust a little bit so then the sum is 1. And we can do that. I don't want to spend the time and not get from the first shot 1, because then I'll have to go back and make some other adjustments. But it is mandatory that the sum is 1. Like here is 30, here has to be 1. Okay, so now we know what a frequency is for qualitative data, and also for discrete it's going to be the same idea, and what the relative frequency is. So we constructed for this example both. Now let's move on. So this is our first page.
Awesome.
Yes, please.
Just to stop you real quick, I got different decimals and they did add up to 1, so I don't know what the issue was.
Maybe thank you very much. That's why I didn't want to go into it, so maybe I have an error somewhere. So 0.4, 0.333, I had 1, 2, 3, 4. 0.666, I had 1, 2, 3.
I think that's where you messed up, is you said 0.0333 4 times, but the fourth one is 0.1333.
Ah, thank you. See, that's why I didn't want to go back and waste the time. So it adds up to 1?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. But this was a very good, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make an error in my calculations, but this is a very important concept. You have to make sure that they add up to 1. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. My apologies. Okay, so in the next step, we would like to, with the information we have, we would like to construct bar graphs. So first of all, what is a bar graph? So a bar graph looks something like this. And so on and so forth. So what will I have here? This will be the label. Whatever we're going to look at an example in a minute. So whatever I label each and every, either on the horizontal or on the vertical axis. So I could have something like this also.
Professor,
Yes?
where is that to construct the bar graph? I don't see it.
So it's right here at the top on page 2, construct bar graphs. Do we have page 2?
I must have something out of order.
That's okay, no worries, no worries. That's why I put the page numbers, because sometimes I put them in an incorrect order as well. So this will be the label, and right here we're going to use the trace feature of the calculator. Right here will be the number of, or either the frequency or the relative frequency. So when we construct a bar graph, our first step is to label data. You can label them on the x-axis or on the y-axis. X or y-axis. X or y-axis, it's up to you. Either on the x-axis or on the y-axis. Number 2. We use the frequency or relative frequency on the other axis. And number 3, we use rectangles. With a height of, as I said, a frequency or relative frequency. You with height of frequency or relative frequency. Okay. So let's go back. We already have the information. We already constructed the frequency and the relative frequency for the data in our example 1. So now we want to create the bar graph. Ready for that? So I'm going to put them side by side. One with the frequency and the other one with the relative frequency. So here we have labels. Back. Then I have hand. Then I have wrist. Then I have groin. All these have the same width. All of them have the same width. So groin. Then we have elbow. And then we have shoulder. Then we have hip. And knee. And neck. I have to extend my graph. That's me. I have to write as big as I can so you can see. Okay. We decided to use the relative frequency, frequency here, and here relative frequency. So again, all these rectangles have the same width. Back goes to 12. So maximum is 12, minimum is 1. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the bar for back will go up to 12. Sometimes you can write, if you want to, you can write at the top, 12. Hand goes to 1. 1. Wrist also to 1, that's what we counted. Groin goes to 2. elbow goes to 1. Shoulder goes to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here is 5. Hip goes back to 2. Knee goes to 4. And the last one back to 2. And this is a bar graph for qualitative data. Bar graph. For qualitative data, using the frequency. Now if we use the relative frequency, let's go back. Which one is the highest? The highest is 0.4. So I'm going to say 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. It will be difficult. Bear with me, and let's assume I have the same categories here from the back to the last one, which is neck. But this time the height is based on these percentages, if you want. That's 40%, that's 3%, that's 3%, that's 6%, or 7%, 3, 17%, 6%, 13%, and 6%, right? So the first one will be, if this is 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, this one, the first one is at 0.3, so somehow I divide this height in 3, and I get this. The same, the next one is the same, the next one is double, the next one is back to the first. This is 16.16, so somewhere here. And then I go back to the double one, and then 0.13. That's 13. This was 16, so this is 13, somewhere here. And then go back to the double. So this is still a bar graph, but it uses still a bar graph. And yet you can put percentages at the top. And somehow I missed my biggest one.
What did you do to get the percentages? Because I was still doing the bar graph, so I didn't hear.
Oh, these were determined before.
Oh, okay.
So you can consider that this one 40% and 3% and 3% and 6.6% and so on and so forth. So 0.4 is the first one, the biggest one, and then the other ones. Is that okay?